Hey guys, welcome to Boxing Squared for boxing news and views from around the internet. Tyson Fury. The big question for me right now is, who is this guy going to be facing in his comeback fight? He's had 2 years out of the ring, and who is he going to face? I mean, from what the former Unified Champion has said on social media, we know the approximate date of his return. It's not far away.
Can't wait to fight. April 12th, April 21st, whatever. I want to get somebody and beat the shit out of him. No more Mr. Nice Guy. Mr. Bad is back.
And if it's going to be April, it begs the question, who's it going to be? When and where? It would certainly shape as being a decent-sized event, a lot of interest. And we know that Fury is working with promoter Frank Warren. And I know every time that I hear Frank Warren say on social media, big announcement coming soon, I instantly think, okay, it's got to be related to the Fury comeback. But so far, nothing has been forthcoming. Even Fury himself, he's been teasing us in recent days on social media on who that first opponent might be. For a brief moment, it did look like either Shannon Briggs or Antonio Tarver might get a shot.
This is the message to Shannon the Cannon Briggs. First of all, let's go, champ. Second of all, I'm going to send you a contract. Get you signed up good and proper so you know you've got something to train for. Keep yourself in shape, get fit, pump a bit of iron, do a bit of sparring, even come and do a bit of training with me if you want, no problem. We'll get it on. Let's go, champ. It's a contract coming your way from me. Hi guys, this is just to clarify something. I tweeted Shannon Briggs before about fight, gave him a contract. He will not be my combat fight, but I'm going to sign him up anyway for whenever I'm ready. I'm going to sign Antonio Tarver up too. Give some of these old ass bitches something to train for. Because they need a little love too. Tarver, if you're watching, Briggs, I'm going to send you some contracts, but don't expect him in my combat fights. So train, prepare, get ready. Mac is back.
And you could imagine Shannon Briggs hasn't reacted well to Tyson Fury's clarification video. He's posted a series of things on social media. In one, he said, "When I say a man's scared, trust me, champ, he's scared. He was feeling good after a good run, and it made him feel like that song, I Got the Power. And his endorphins gassed him up, and he went ham and cheese, and that wore off. And he said, I'm bugging." So there was more to that, but I mean, you get the picture. So Shannon Briggs, definitely not impressed, but definitely creative on the front on social media with some of these things running in the background. It does make me wonder, this whole situation with Tyson Fury and talking about Shannon Briggs, Antonio Tarver, then having to sort of basically pull it all back. What is the point of sending the contracts at all? I imagine there's going to be so much wriggle room in it, there would be nothing to force Fury to fight either Briggs or Tarver at all, by any date. So are they really worth the paper that it's written on? I mean, what does it say? I may face you at some point if I want to. But only if I want to. But at least put your signature here and we can agree that maybe I'll fight you. I mean, you know, it's all a bit ludicrous, really. This whole situation with the contracts, it feels like to me that it was another instance where Tyson Fury, he wanted to court attention to stay in the minds of fans. Mission accomplished on that front. He's actually been able to do this successfully for several months. It's not a new thing. He's been stringing us along, keeping us entertained with different bits and pieces for a long time now. Ever since he said he was going to make a comeback, because he said he was going to make a number of comebacks. There was sort of these retirements and whatnot. But we've been hearing he is coming back. And it's starting to look more real. But even if you go back to November, and remember this, he was talking up his potential first opponent and even ran a poll, which got tens of thousands of votes, with Shannon Briggs and David Price being the clear favourite. I mean, the caveat with all that is Tyson Fury, he chose the people that were in the poll. So was it really representative of who people wanted to see? No, it was only representative of the people in the poll. But ultimately, nothing came of it. And now we have David Price being booked up to face Alexander Povetkin. And Povetkin was also in that poll. And Briggs now, given what Tyson Fury has just said in that clip that I played before, he's on the outside looking in. Well, at least for this first fight, not being considered. The only thing that we know for sure is Fury has been working out, he's been putting in the yards, he's been losing weight like crazy. The last update, 3-4 weeks ago, he'd lost 4 stone, a huge amount of weight. So that does give me some confidence that this return is nearing, that it's going to be real, and that he is getting closer to fighting weight. But that first opponent, when will it be named? Given Fury has previously said he doesn't want to face an out-and-out journeyman because he's above that, and to be honest, I do agree, who is of a sufficient level to allow him to get credit while still being a beatable opponent? Arguably, someone like David Price probably did fall into that camp, but there was still risk there. David Price can punch, and big guy versus big guy, he might be able to catch up with him at some point. I mean, who knows? I mean, as I've said before, my personal view is Tyson Fury needs some lower level tune-up fights just to blow off the ring rust. He's been out of the ring since November 2015. It is now 2018. And I wouldn't actually hold it against him if his first few fights back were actually journeyman, because I think he just needs to get in there, get active. He needs to get his rhythm back. I mean, training is fine, but it's different from being in the ring. I still think that getting in the ring right now with a top-level opponent immediately, which he's sort of said he wants to do, he's indicated as much, that's asking for trouble, and simply because of his inactivity. I think it'll take 2, 3, 4 fights just before he's really back in the swing of things. And after he's had those first few fights, that's when he should be stepping it up to get back to, because obviously he wants to win his titles back. I don't think he can just do that right off the bat. I know other people disagree with that, some of you will too, but drop your thoughts on what he should be doing in terms of opponent. I mean, the other thing to consider here is April is not that far away, and presumably his return is going to be a relatively big deal, which will generate decent interest among the casual fan, and arguably Fury is more famous now, or perhaps infamous, than he was when he won the belts back in 2015. And for whatever reason, he wasn't treated like the hero he thought he should be. I mean, he is an outspoken character. So long story short, there's money to be made. And after all, that makes boxing go round at the top level. And Tyson Fury, he's made a lot of money, but he can make some more. And I imagine he wants as much as he can. I mean, this is why he talks about wanting a 60-40 cut with Anthony Joshua. I think that's unrealistic, but I think he is closer to commanding a 50-50 split than probably anyone else in the world of boxing today, because that would be a huge domestic dust-up in the UK. But in terms of this first one, I mean, he just needs to get under his belt. He needs to come back, needs to keep training, needs to keep winning, and then he can think about the bigger fights. Well, that's what I just think. But in terms of April, I can't imagine, would you really want to leave things too late before you announce it? I mean, the more time you have to sell it, market the event, the better. And presumably, they're going to want a decent-sized venue. Tickets will be a decent cost, there will be a broadcaster, so there's all that business side of boxing that has to be factored into this equation, and the machinery that is needed to actually push that along. And you can't just sort of set these things up on a couple of weeks' notice. I mean, maybe Mick Hennessy can, but I mean, someone who really wants to push this and make some money probably needs a good couple of months. So, really, we should be expecting some sort of announcement very soon. If not, does that mean April is off the table? I don't know. He's, as you saw earlier, he's targeting April. And actually, sidebar on all this, Hughie Fury, Tyson Fury's cousin, he's a contender in the heavyweight division, and he's been saying for months his ring return after his loss to Joseph Parker would be in April. That's been something they've been targeting for a while. More recently, there's been messages that he's posted on his social media saying an announcement is coming soon, but it hasn't come. And he's actually said, I think in the most recent one, very soon, see this on screen. And I wonder, is he actually going to be on the same bill as his cousin? And is the hold-up in announcing his opponent all connected to that? We'll have to see. But I just wanted to drop a few thoughts on this whole comeback situation, because April's getting pretty close now. And I'm just not sure who that opponent is going to be. Someone that's going to give Tyson Fury the sort of credit and plaudits for a victory that he is after. If David Price is off the table and he's saying Shannon Briggs and Antonio Tarver are not going to be the opponent, who's it going to be? What do you make of it all? Interested to hear your thoughts. Drop a comment loud and often. Hit like, hit subscribe, follow me on Twitter, boxing_squared. I'm out.